Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'd like to give an update to the Katherine Moore case. She is the young lady that was found a little over a week ago. She disappeared and was found, her body, they did do an autopsy on, and there was no sign of any type of foul play. So now we're waiting for the toxicology reports. But there's some rather disturbing cryptic posts to her social media accounts. So I'm going to give some updates on that, and we're still waiting, like I said, for the autopsy toxicology reports, and until then we really don't have anything else to go on. However, today some of the cryptic posts that were found indicate some things that led up to her possible disappearance, because these messages give us a clearer picture of her mental state. And we know that she was in a mental facility approximately a week before she disappeared and passed away. In the first post, Elena wrote about someone letting her, and it's in quotes, destroy herself just to keep, and in quotes, us alive. She described carrying as exhausting hatred and the pain of looking at someone she once loved with disgust and resentment. She didn't name anyone, but the message was clearly aimed at a specific person. A few weeks earlier, she shared another message saying she felt, in quotes, lighter, and in quotes, finally free and safe. She talked about losing the anxiety someone had caused her and being relieved that they were no longer in her life. In another post, she said memories were, in quotes, in the trash, and that she realized she had been in a relationship with, in quotes, the devil himself. Again, no names, but the language is strong, symbolic, and emotionally charged. None of these posts are encrypted in a technical sense. There was no code, no cipher, no hidden message. These are called cryptic posts. They're direct, they're symbolic, and they're clearly expressing her fear, resentment, and emotional distress. These posts matter because they were shared days and weeks before her disappearance, and they show a pattern. Elena was trying to communicate something painful, something she didn't feel safe saying directly, and something she wanted people to understand without naming the person involved. It's nothing that any of us are understanding right now. She was married. We do know from her family that there were some marital issues, but they had known each other for 13 years. They were married for about 1 year. But none of her family thought that their relationship was in that type of a state where these comments would come into effect. So it's all pretty vague right now, but very disturbing things to see after somebody has passed away and had emotional instability. As more information comes out, I will continue to go through it and separate facts from speculation and keep the focus on what Elena actually said and in her own words. This is, again, a very sad case and another young life taken way too soon. Thank you, everybody. And as always, thank you for watching and stay safe.
Personal trainer Elena Moore shared cryptic messages about pain, feeling free, and moving on weeks before she was found dead. The 39-year-old vanished on June 11th after checking into a Planet Fitness in Lexington, South Carolina at 6:40 p.m. Hours later, she was spotted on surveillance walking across a nearby Publix parking lot at 9:17 p.m. She was heading toward a wooded area behind a Lowe's. Her husband, Brandon Slice, reported her missing the next day. Following a tip, authorities discovered Moore's body underneath a concrete bridge nearly a week later. An autopsy confirmed no signs of traumatic injury like bruising, blunt force trauma, strangulation, or lacerations. Her cause of death remains unknown pending histology, medical records review, and toxicology testing. Moore was typically active on social media but uncharacteristically went radio silent a month before she vanished. Messages obtained by TMZ from a secondary Instagram account reveal emotional and cryptic posts shared just weeks before her death. In March, she shared a quote stating, "The war is over," expressing relief that someone was no longer in her life. The quote added, "I feel free now, like I'm not tied down to something that was hurting me." In May, another post touched on exhausting hatred and added, "I don't want to hate you, but how could I not?" It continued, "I never wanted to look at someone I once loved with disgust and resentment." The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division is investigating the case alongside the coroner's office. A day before Moore was found, officials stated they did not suspect foul play. They noted that her husband, Brandon Slice, was not a person of interest at the current moment. A close friend asked for privacy for Slice, posting that Brandon wants to share Elena's story when appropriate. However, others close to Moore claimed there were glaring red flags regarding her disappearance. Close friend Sandra Rochelle Campbell told News Nation she believes Moore and her husband had marital problems. Campbell stated, "I think my friend was struggling for her life. I think she was literally afraid for her life." Adding to the bizarre timeline, doorbell camera footage captured Moore behaving strangely a week before she vanished. A resident reported that Moore appeared confused outside her apartment while allegedly pretending to be a DoorDash driver. Moore tried entering the apartment after dropping off the food order, leading the resident to note that something seemed off. As the community reels from the shocking loss, loved ones are left searching for answers. Officials maintain that the final cause and manner of death will be released after toxicology and additional studies are complete.